Two girls, one struggle, pour it up, make it double. Time to spill the tea. Tired of the dating scene. I'm just trying to find a bank. But the games they wanna play, only if it's rated R. Maybe then I'll show my cards.
Hey y'all.
The two girls, one struggle. How y'all doing tonight?
How you feeling?
What you sipping on?
I got a little something light, Moscato.
Okay.
I have time to make a delicious cocktail, but I got y'all next show.
I'm drinking a ginger pear martini.
It's really nice. Good. Look at that bling at the bottom of that glass. Okay, now.
Always got to keep my glass there proper.
Yeah, I'm gonna step my shit up because Nikki ain't about to be on here with all the nice fucking glasses and stuff. I got y'all.
And I got a champagne food like this too. I can't wait.
Oh, cute. I got to see that one.
It just like a champagne food with the same bottom. Literally. All right, guys. Two girls, one struggle. I'm that girl, Nikki B.
And I'm Snugs. How y'all feeling?
Today, we got a topic for y'all. Some of y'all ladies may not want to talk about it, but we want to talk about it. Okay. All right. So the topic today is, I'd be like, where's the topic? Pedophiles, young and thotty. Right? Pedophiles, young and thotty. So do y'all remember, or Samara, do you remember when you were younger, you thought you was a fast ass? Like, not you, but like girls in general. You like, not me. Girls in general, right? Like, we thought we was grown. No matter what age we were, we thought we were grown. And we thought that
I definitely felt like a grown woman.
We thought that fucking with older men was cute. And as you get older, you realize, like, nah, them niggas was R. Kelly's. They was R. Kelly's. They should be on the show.
They was kind of sketchy.
Old and horny. Scoping out high schools. All right. So we are going to talk about our experiences with that today. So Samara, you want to talk about yours first?
I mean, I guess I got to put in the hot seat first. Okay. So now, when I was younger, I like to flirt. I like to talk to guys. And y'all all heard of Black Planet. I think we all heard of Black Planet. Telling my age a little bit. I was on there like 14, 15, just like online dating, emailing dudes and stuff. And I think that's when I kind of got into like realizing I like older dudes. Okay. Like the guys at my age didn't have anything good or intelligent to say. And I will always get hit on by the 21-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the 22-year-olds. And I was like 14, 15. And not thinking nothing in it because I was still a tad bit naive. I wasn't having sex or anything, but I was like, oh, this is good conversation. I'm thinking they talking to me because they want to have good conversation. So I'll be up late at night for hours. My mother used to work overnight. And I'll be up all night on the phone. My brother used to call me Hotline 97, not knowing I was talking to guys, but just know my ass was on the phone. 1 year for Christmas, he even bought me my own like phone for like the area in the house because I was on the phone that much. Like every night I was on the phone with somebody till like 1, 2 in the morning with an older dude just talking, and we just jonesing on the phone. Yes.
No, but you know what? Back in the day, they had those what was the phones? It was like you call into like the hotline and it's like a group chat.
Oh, the chat rooms. I was in those too.
I never did into that. I know people that did, but I was never a part of that. But you saying that reminded me of that. Because they will all be like in the chat rooms together, but then some of them will break off, go talk to some other boy, or they'll meet up outside. Like, okay. All right.
Yeah, I did the chat rooms with my best friend though. So like we'll all be like, she'll call and we'll all be in a room and put it on speaker. And then they'll be, we connect with somebody and their friends, and we all talking that way. But definitely the chat lines. Those are the Bronx, Balmain, Brooklyn Ravens. If y'all from New York, y'all know.
Okay.
But yeah, at that time, I just thought it was cool. I just thought like, I'm into older guys. Like older guys are cool. They get me. The guys my age. Not saying I didn't like them, but the conversations were different. You know what I'm saying? The guys my age, like we're having fun with being silly. Like the older guys, they're telling you I love you soon. I think that's why I used to fall in like easy, because I would
Mhm.
chat with these guys on the phone 90% of the time, 95% of the time. We're not even meeting up. We're just on the phone for hours talking,
So
and they're like,
y'all niggas was falling in love with conversation.
yes.
Okay.
And I mean, they could have been Jimmy, they could have been plotting to do some extra shit, but I wasn't even trying to have sex or anything back then. Like, I was just falling in love with good conversation. Like, oh my God, we're talking. He's older. Like, look at him. He like me.
Right.
Like, real naive and young. Now realizing like this is a legal one.
This is
What's wrong
pedophiles.
with him? Because I know, if y'all think we look young now, imagine how old I looked at 14. So, yeah. But I enjoyed it. I guess now as we got older and we get to understand the R. Kelly thing, because that was going on as we was teenagers too. And
Mhm.
like we was like, it's weird, but we didn't think anything of it. When you get older, it was like, yo, this was all kinds of fucking wrong. Like, and we willingly participated in some illegal pedophile disgusting thing. Like, why are you looking at someone our age?
All right. So have you ever fucked with somebody, like actually had sex with somebody?
That's how I was of age. So
Okay.
at a young age, yeah.
I mean, like at a younger age. Like in
Oh
high
no,
school, have you ever had sex with anybody that was like you was 15 and maybe they was like 25 or something like that?
no, because I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18, so that didn't happen. But I'm like kissed. I don't know if that counts.
But
Maybe
how
gave
old
a
was it?
hand job. I don't know. I could have given a hand job. I don't know, but
You don't
I
know.
definitely kissed an older. Because I'm like, I don't remember. I didn't care for doing it, but it probably because I was probably like, I'm not giving you none. But I guess like if they put my hand out, I probably was like, now I know what the hell I'm doing. Like this, like
My
this.
hand used to be mad dry. Like, is it? It probably was hurting them.
Listen. I did not know how to give a hand job at that
It
age at
probably
all.
was hurting them because I know my hand was dry. Like,
You so stupid.
I got dry hands, like, and I got calluses and I don't do shit, so I could just imagine. And
You
I'm
so
like,
stupid.
that's some sweaty. Come on now, that shit is dry. Anyway, so I remember when I was in high school. So when I was in high school, I was always like kind of like popular and kind of like stush at the same time, if that makes sense. Like I had like my group of friends. I was cool with all the people that worked like at the school, like the actual people that worked like in the office. Those was like my peeps. Like those were my friends. I could get into any lunch period because they letting me in. Like I could do whatever I want. Like basically, like I go in the office, I chilling there with them. So we used to hang out. I used to hang out with them after school too. So mind you, I'm going to high school and they working at the high school and we hanging out because they lived in Harlem. I lived in Harlem. So I rode to their block one day and it was some guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but I was like, oh, who's that? Right? That was me being a thotty. And I was like, mind you, I'm not thinking nothing of it because I've always been like very mature for my age. And people always thought I was older than I was because of the way that I carried myself. So I'm like, oh, who's that? Not thinking like, oh, this he's probably old. It wasn't a thought in my brain. It just felt natural because I was chilling with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, who's that? And then he came and he was like, who's that? Right? And then we just started fucking with each other. It was weird. We was fucking in the staircase. We was fucking in the park. We was fucking in the bathroom at parties because I used to go to their parties too.
Really?
We was fucking in the car, in the fucking project.
So this was like your whole man.
That wasn't my man. That wasn't my man. We were just fucking. In fact, I think I was in college at that time too because I remember coming back and going over there. I remember dropping my bag home and then going over there. So yeah, so it was probably like I was 17. I was 17 years old and he was 27. So that's 10 years. So basically, right? That's pedophile shit. And that was me being young and fucking thotty. And it's like when you younger and you thinking about that shit, right? You're not when you're thinking about it, you're not thinking about it. And you just like, this nigga look good. He had the muscles. He was nice. He was light skinned, but not like light. He was like a caramel. He had muscles. He was a drug dealer nigga, right? So dressed nice. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, all the girls wanted him. So it was just like, all right, like, and we was acting like nothing was happening. Like
just regular, just two grown ass adults enjoying each other.
That's how I started fucking in parks, like, cause
oh, he was the first.
Started with him. Yep.
I
remember this. I remember the exact spot, and you know,
really,
you know what I remember? I had on. You remember those wrestling boots that everybody had? The high wrestling boots. Did you have a pair of those?
Yeah.
I had those on, right? I remember they was black and white. And I remember being in the park, like trying to like undress, but the shits was high, it was getting away. And I had sticks and shit, sticks and bushes all over me.
Yeah, really?
Yes, it was too much. I was like, this is fucking annoying. But again, I was just outside being grown. And I was 17. I was 17 years old, and he didn't think nothing of it. I don't know, because I'm not going to make excuses. I never talked to him about it. But I think that because I was with them, he may have thought that I was older. So I don't think he ever asked until maybe one day somebody like may have said something to him, like, yo, you know, she da. But again, people always thought I would be out with my mother, and they'd be like, oh, like, and she'd be like, my daughter. They'd be like, that's your daughter? And I'm like, she like, yeah, because I always like looked like more like older, more mature. They was like, oh, all right. I always had like titties and shit. So like, they was like, all right.
Titties. I had these for a long time.
Let me see them. What's that?
No, I was saying you were saying that.
I was ready to see.
These came after my son, okay? These came after my son, because these bad boys was just little and perky. Now they just every fucking man.
Yeah, so I'm hot. Sorry.
So I was gonna say that I was like, he probably didn't think anything because you were hanging around, right? You know, the other adults, and but that is strange. It lets you know too, because I was meeting these guys on the dating app. Well, you know, like the website, the chat rooms online. And I think you put your age, but I'm trying to think that I make up an age, because I know you have to be a certain age for some of these to get on. So I don't even know if I'm trying to think if I had a fake age on there. But I feel like a lot of them don't even ask. They just like, yo, she trying to talk to me, then I'm gonna talk to her. Like, there's plenty of men, even when not like at your age, when we was going through the college phase or whatever, but they didn't care how old I was. They didn't ask. They ain't bothered to ask. I was the one asking, like, how old are you? Yeah. They just assume like, shit, if you interested, then I'm gonna hope you old enough.
We thought it was cute. We thought it was cool. Like, I'm not like you, like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with this nigga. I'm at the parties. I'm in the bathroom, throwing it back, like, throwing it back, bitch, over the sink. They coming out with listen, because like I said, they was drug dealers, so they had money. Well, he was a drug dealer. I don't know what they was doing, but they had money, so we was at parties drinking a Clico. That shit was nasty as fuck, but we was drinking it. And Henny. I've been drinking Henny all my life, and Henny. And
I was about to ask you, were you drinking at that time? Okay.
Yeah, and just like at the parties, just chilling, and I was grown, and like now, in retrospect, when you think about it, that shit is fucked up. But it's like a lot of times you hear females complaining about, oh, this guy did this and he took advantage of me. And yes, because they're older, but then also you gotta admit to yourself that you was being a fast ass too. Not everybody, but like some people, you was being a fast ass. Like you thought it was cute until in retrospect you thought about it and was like, all right, maybe it was a little weird. But I feel like in situations like that, you can't put the full blame on the guy. You can because I feel like they're probably the initiator, right? But then it's also like we thought it was cute. Like it wasn't like all right, like say for example, an older guy approached you and you was like, oh my God, like no. You was like, oh, he's trying to talk to me. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't resistant to it. It wasn't like you
wasn't realizing, like, he is too old for you. Right. You know what I'm saying?
He thought it was cute.
It's more so like, oh, he think I'm mature enough to deal with him, so this is dope. But I was gonna say too, I feel like it's you know, a society thing where everybody was raised, nobody thought that way. If you think back, our grandfathers are like how many years older than our grandmothers? and it's been going on for generation and generation.
Older than my mother.
Where, yeah, like older men. My mother's
He said he started
ex-husband
talking
was
to her.
11 years.
He say, matter of fact, I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna do that. Never.
Right?
I was
Look,
I was about to
to
put
sell
all
a
the
dairy.
business out there. I'm sorry, guys. This is my
Nah,
Tuesday.
but you know, we look back in generation, society made it okay, at least
Right.
at the time, until it got too young. Because you know, back then, like you said, they were 14, 15-year-olds getting married and giving birth
Yep.
to these grown men, and it wasn't an issue. But as you get older and you realize these kids are not consenting to this. When you know better, you do better, you know, quote unquote. And it's just like, we're not consenting to this. We don't know better. We like the attention we're getting from someone that's supposed to be mature and responsible.
Mhm.
And like you said, like we have to hold ourselves accountable, because at the same time is you should be attempted to, at least at that age, dating in your age group. So when we sit there and see the older guys and we're like, oh, you know, they're so cool, they so dope. Like, stay in the child space. You're a little girl. Stay there until you old enough to deal with it.
I always liked
But
older guys.
yeah, me too. Like I said, like you said, like you was kind of mature for your age. Like I said, the guys that were my age, they were cool as friends. We were
Right.
fun to joke and laugh with, but I couldn't have deep conversations with them like I had it with the older guys.
Right.
Like they understood. They can hold a conversation. We could actually be on the phone for hours at a time and actually continue to have things to say. But you know, at the same time too, they should have known better. But I feel like some of them really just didn't know better,
Yeah.
because it happens a lot. I don't think there's any female out there that can't say she didn't at least, you know, deal or date or talk to somebody when she was younger that was a good 5 to 10 years older than her. And just, it was normal. And most of the time, they're the one pursuing. Don't get me wrong, some of us are fast, where we like see something we really going after it.
In that situation, it was me like, who's that? Like, it was literally like, I was like, oh, like, come here, daddy. Like, he was looking good as fuck. Literally, that's what happened. We were sitting in the car. The girl that worked at my job, she was driving her car. I was in the passenger seat, and she was waiting for them to walk over. And I was like, oh, who's that?
Okay.
Like, you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he came in the car and was looking like, oh, I want her. It was me, like, and I feel like maybe it should have been up to the person whose car I was in to be like, nah, like,
chill,
sis.
You
Like,
know how old she is? Yeah.
You know, old as fuck, and vice versa. But yeah.
Yeah. See, I was shy, so I wasn't hitting on nobody. That's why I did all my flirting online, because in person I was super shy. Like, you got to come over and talk to me, and even then I'm like, I don't care how much I was liking you inside. Like, I was sitting there like, I don't know what to do. Like,
you were shy. Yeah.
Yep. But I still have my little older guys.
I think I had more confidence because I was with these people. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm already with the mature crowd, so it wasn't like I was with people my age, and you know, you feel a little bit like timid if somebody older, whatever. But no, like I said, I was always like, I thought I was the shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, high school, like all right. So it was me, Mykemia, and Jackie, right? We all went to the same high school. And me and Mykemia, like, we would walk through the school. Like, we ran that shit. And it used to be so funny because, like, if anybody said something to me, she would say something to them, and vice versa. And we was just like tag teaming. We was mean girling people. Like, it was funny. It was funny. It was funny.
See, like, it's funny because
go ahead.
No, I was saying like how you felt even more confident in like the shit, because you know, you already, you know, everybody knew you and you was hanging out with the cool people and the older people. Like, I was the same way without feeling all that confidence. I was just like, they gonna know. Eventually they be like, take your little ass home. Like, I just, you know, that was in the back of my head. Like, cause I know technically I ain't supposed to be hanging out with them, but like we from the same hood. We all know each other. Like, I know I'm cool, but eventually you're gonna be like, you ain't old enough to do this with us, so you gotta go. And I was just always waiting for them to tell me I gotta go. So I was just like, I'm not doing too much to put too much attention on this ass. So they be like, go ahead.
Yes, right. Like, you gotta go. It's time for you to go.
But now it's just crazy thinking back, like, yeah, at that age, but like until I got with my son's father, and like, you know, you'll kind of date little people here and there, probably from your area or different parts that's your age, but like anywhere outside of that, it was always someone older, like always. And I was just like, damn. And then I realized, like, I am into. I don't know if that's the reason why I'm into older guys, because I was so young, like I got the attention from them, or it really was like the personality is different, the maturity is different for some, because some of y'all older men still acting 12 too. But
I got another story too. I got another story. This camera, I don't even know which way to pull. But so saying that, all right. So I wasn't attracted to, like, it wasn't the personality for me, right? It was oh damn, that nigga look good. So I remember a guy. I remember he used to drive one of those. You ever seen those navy blue and white Arista trucks? It's like kind of like I don't know if it's like plumbing or electrician work or something like that.
Okay.
It's a work truck, right? So I remember they used to always be there. And again, this was high school, and it was a corner store. And I used to go in there every day. Everybody was in there getting their breakfast, they bacon, egg, and cheese. And I was getting my Starburst because I was a candy fiend. So I was getting my 2-pack. Anyway, I was in the store because I paused off. And I remember him coming in there. Not almost said the name. Not the one I was talking about, but another guy. Okay. He was like chocolatey, right? And I was just like, oh, like he looked good. Like he looks really good. And I remember and now in retrospect, I'm thinking about it. I remember him just like lurking. Does that make sense? Like he's in like he in the corner store getting whatever he getting, but he's also like watching too at the same time. Wow. Right. So, and I'm thinking about that now in retrospect, like, oh, that nigga was fucking a pedophile. But I fell for it because I fuck with him too. He was looking good. He was nice and chocolatey and like tall. And I was like, So yeah.
See, now I like to talk. So you could be cute, but I need to know you can hold a conversation, because some of these guys, they would just look good and they have money, but they couldn't, like, you just want to, like they do nowadays, just want to compliment you or just try to sleep with you. So back then I just knew I wasn't ready for sex. I was like, we got to talk about something, because I'm not going to be sleep with you. But I used to love to kiss, so we could kiss. But then I'm like, hey, stop. Once your fingers start going places, stop. I'm like, you got to have some conversation to be talking to me. I don't care how good they look. Like, I passed up some shit. But I knew, like, you know, I didn't know from what other people told me, like, yeah, you know, he gonna want to sleep with you. So I'm like, damn, you see that guy, like you were saying, you're like, oh, who that?
Right.
And you're like, nah, you a virgin, he ain't sleeping with you. Like, he ain't talking to you.
Well, like, I want to talk really quickly. I don't want to stay on the topic of
sure.
I want to talk about R. Kelly, like, really fast, right? Because there was one girl on there, and she was a huge R. Kelly fan. And she basically was like, oh, she was one of the ones that when the story originally came out about him, she was like, oh no, I don't believe it. Like, I'm a fan and blah, blah, blah. I forgot what her name is. I think it was something with a J, like Jera or something. I don't know. Okay. But basically the stories was out. She wasn't believing it. And then she ended up becoming a victim. So, but then what I couldn't understand with that particular story was like, but you knew, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he was, she was outside, like when people, like when whoever was in court, like testifying against him, she was one of the
I think I know who you're talking about.
She was one of the protesters outside, like, free R. Kelly, free R. Kelly. So I couldn't understand. Sorry, I'm banging my ball card. The thing. But I couldn't understand how she would be how you would be upset. I don't want to sound insensitive, right? But I just can't understand how now you're complaining about what happened to you when it was happening, you didn't believe that it was happening. You didn't believe that victim. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel like, you know, that's something you would probably, have to be in, which I'll never wish that on anybody. But I think, like they were saying, he's a master manipulator. And two, sometimes people are really in denial. Like, sometimes you allow yourself to be in denial. You allow yourself to be blind to certain things that are going on, because you're like, no, maybe it was a bad day. You know, he's doing certain shit that's off to you, and you're chucking it up to everything else but the shit I heard is true, and this is who this person is. Right. And I think she probably wanted to, because she was such a diehard fan. And, you know, you're like, I have this chance with him. Like, he chose me out of all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And you're sitting there in denial, and trying to convince yourself that what's going on is really not what's going on.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he is just extra freaky. Like, you know, this ain't as bad as I think it could be because you know I am here. You know, you keep
No,
telling
so what I'm
yourself.
saying is I'm asking like from the perspective of her just even putting herself in that predicament to get to that point when she already knew about the allegations. You get what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, 'cause my thing is, if I'm seeing that, right? If I'm seeing that and I'm like, oh, this nigga, whether I believe it or not, or whether I'm like free R. Kelly or not, I'm not going to try to pursue R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Like, you get
That's
what I'm saying? So I
Thotty.
feel
Yeah. I'm
like,
like little Thotty. That's either a
I don't
huge
know. So
crush or being a little.
that's why I'm a little like, okay, like you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know because the other ones, right? Some of the older ones, he kind of approached them on like business or whatever. But this one, she was putting herself there. Like you get what I'm saying? Like you was
Mhm.
outside protesting, like free R. Kelly, and now you're a victim. And again, I don't want to sound insensitive, but I'm a little like stuff like that. I can't get behind because I feel like you put yourself in that predicament. And again, I don't want to sound insensitive. Nobody jumped down my.
She like
But no, seriously,
disclosure.
that's my point of view for that particular person. So not for all of them, but that particular situation, it was kind of like, but you was outside protesting
Yeah.
against you was basically going against the victim at that time, and then you became a victim. So now you're looking for empathy and sympathy from an audience when you were the one protesting for him when that shit was happening originally.
Mhm.
So I can't get behind that.
Yeah. That's just pure denial. I think like she was like, it can't be me. Like I'm giving consent. I want him. And I know he has to be good. So it's like, why not? Like, cause she really deep down in her soul believe it wasn't true. Cause I
Right.
don't care how much I like me some Drake. If there's so much allegations going around about him doing some shit, as much as I like him, he came
Wait,
and
there
approached me
is?
like, oh, I want to take you on a date. I'm not going.
Well, you saying there is, or you're saying if there was?
No, I'm saying if there were,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have to fall back and taste. Like, I'm not saying you guilty, but I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And unfortunately, some truth had to come from somewhere. Not everybody making up something. Like there's a sprinkle of truth
Exactly.
somewhere in there. And
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to just fall back. Like I'm gonna have to like you from afar and keep it at that. Like I wouldn't even allow myself to be in a situation to find out if it's true or not. You know what I'm saying? At least allow some time to pass and settle before you do something like that. But I'm like, for it to repeatedly come up, and with the whole Leah thing where it was true, the pissing on the girl, which was true. Like, these things, these allegations were
That
found
Aaliyah
to be
shit,
true.
when
So
that Aaliyah shit kind of made me sad.
yeah.
And the reason why I made, because I didn't know what the story was, but they had, you watched the documentary or whatever. And she was like so young and so innocent. And a lot of these parents that were like the parents to like the kids, like it's kind of like they threw their kids into these situations. Like, all right, it's R. Kelly, like go ahead, like get money, almost coming from a state of selfishness. So when
Of course.
when I watched the girl, I forgot her name, but she was like his backup singer or something like that. When I watched her describe what happened when they was on a tour bus and she was like the door flew open and he was having sex with Aaliyah, she was
Yeah.
and she was like what the fuck? Like you get what I'm saying? Like that shit is crazy. And then to go get married, to forge papers to get married.
Yeah. That stuff was
And they say
crazy.
that the parents knew.
They
say
did. They
knew.
with especially back then, I'm acting like I was back then, but from like a lot of these other celebrities telling stories about their past stuff, their parents, their aunts and uncles signed off on everything. It was just about the money back then. Like these people were supporting their families and families. So just like do what you got to do. Like just do this for now, and eventually you don't have to. And so I think it's sad because I think she probably at the time felt like she loved this man and liked him, but it was like he was a whole grown ass fucking man.
See, but I don't think she loved him. Only based on the stories that they were saying, like how her facial expressions always looked like off, if that makes sense. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I heard some of that too, but then like I watched like we said we wasn't gonna get into this,
Right.
but I did no, but then I did see some stuff where I think at first it was innocent and fun to her until it was just extra. You know how sometimes you kind of like the chase, you kind of like to flirt with somebody, but when you see it, remember she was like what 14, 15, and now you're introducing sex and stuff to somebody that is now you saying you are a grown man. And from the stories these grown women are telling, we don't know how gentle or what type of things he was trying to do with her, where it was like, okay, this ain't fun or cute no more. You know what I'm saying? It's all funny
I don't
games
think he
until
was like
somebody
that.
crossed that line with you.
I don't think he was like that with her. I think the other girls, he was like, all right, I'm fucking, I'm peeing. But I think he really, truly, in his elementary brain, like, was in love with her. I think so. But you know what? I was watching a movie the other day. I was in Houston, and I was watching a movie with my mom, and the movie was dumb. I was like, why are you watching this? It was like some spiritual Christianity thing, but she didn't know that's what it was when she started watching it until we was watching it. But she was committed to get into the fucking end. So it was basically like the guy, his father used to beat the mother, right? So he poisoned the father, and the father died, right? And because he was like, you keep beating my mom, like, it gotta stop. So he poured something in his liquor. He was also, father was an alcoholic. So in the movie, the guy kind of like blacks out. He doesn't black out. He got into a car accident. I didn't watch the whole thing because I was like, why are you watching this? But my mother told me he got into a car accident, so he was in a coma. When he was in a coma, he was with God. But it wasn't, again, why was she watching this, right? But it wasn't God, it was people, and God was like a black lady, and she had like 2 like servants or whatever. Anyway, in the movie, one of the girls, one of the angels or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, disciples, she was like, oh, you think you're a good judge of people? You think you're a good judge of character? Whatever, right? So she showed him kind of like, you know, like when you show somebody's life, you go back. So she was like, okay, like your father was doing this, but then she flashed back to the father when he was younger, and his father was going through the same thing.
Same thing.
You know how I always say your childhood shapes who you are today. So the father took that trauma that he had from watching his mom be beat, right? And his mom do all of that kind of stuff. And he became what his father, he became what he resented in his dad, right? So saying that to say, R. Kelly, when you listen to his story, look, I got the pen like, R. Kelly, when you listen to his story and you hear his brothers talk, at a younger age, he was molested by his sister, right? Yeah. He was molested by his sister, him and his brother, and he couldn't read. So in high school or whatever grade he was in, when he dropped out and started doing music, he couldn't bag no bitches. Right? He couldn't bag, it was high school. He couldn't bag females. 1, he was being molested by his sister. And 2, he couldn't bag females. So me always trying to like just look at things from different perspectives. He's holding on to that time in his life, right? Because if you think about it, in high school, he couldn't bag females. He couldn't bag them. He couldn't read, right? So now I'm a celebrity, and now I got this kind of like power. I'm gonna go back to the source of my sadness, and I'm gonna kind of like prove a point. Like, oh no, now I can bag out bitches. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I think that if he didn't already, he needs to go and talk and get all of that shit out and heal that shit. Because I think that's the reason why he's going after these high school girls, because that's a point in his life, a trauma in his life, where they was teasing him like, nigga, you can't read. We're not trying to fuck with you. So now he going to learn.
Not even that, a sense of control. You know what I'm saying? Like they're at a young age where you can manipulate. You know what I'm saying? Their mind is still fresh, so they don't know better. So once you try to introduce something to them, you know, new, you try to make it seem good, like they're gonna fall. Well, at least he's thinking they're gonna fall for it. But I do agree. I think he needs help, and I think that's what the people, well, not the people around him, but like, you know, the point of the show and all this other stuff, where people are saying nobody was trying to get him help. They was just taking these payoffs. Like,
Because
He's throwing his check here, but nobody was like, something ain't right. Because it's not. It's one thing to be a thotty. It's one thing to be hoish. It's one thing to sleep with mad women, which is still kind of wrong in its own, depending. But for you to take advantage and do all this extra stuff at too
as
young,
long as they of age. But okay.
yeah. No, I was saying wrong in the sense like you just sleeping with everybody now.
Right.
Like be a little selective. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, so that part will be acceptable. But with the age group, the quote unquote torture and the, you know, all the accusations that he has against him, that's a sign that I'm screaming for help. I need help. Something's not right. There's one thing to have fetishes and different things, but those things are usually done with consent.
And you know what? It leads me to believe that maybe that's what his sister was doing to him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what he was going through. Because he never told his brother was like, his brother, when it happened to his brother, it was his younger brother. He said he went to him and Robert was like, oh no, can't be. Because he was ashamed of himself. And he didn't say this.
Yeah.
This is me thinking like he was ashamed of himself to be like, well, it's happening to me too. Because that's a difficult,
and I get it.
That's a difficult conversation to have. And if he lost his power in those moments, right? He's going to try to get that power back. Like, oh, now I have the power. Now I'm popular. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, now I'm going to use this manipulation to show y'all bitches. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he's taking his power back. And it's sad because the victims had to, you know, because of the victims. But in all reality, he truly needs to have help. But he's so cocky. He was so cocky at that time and still a little bit afterwards. Like, he didn't recognize, like, bro, like, you need help. You need help. And that's what we was talking about the other day on Tipsy Talk. Like, it's about accountability and really sitting with yourself and understanding the shit that you've been through.
I think it had to get to a point. Come on, he's been to court a million times for a different million accusations. I think after a while, like, you know, now at first it's like you want to feel bad for this person because like, damn, I can imagine, you know, that happening.
I don't feel bad for him. Let me make it clear. I don't feel bad for him. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, help. Yeah, I mean now, but like, let's say the first time something came out and you learning like, oh my God, this happened to him. So it's probably why it's going on. But you just continuing to do it. You keep going to jail. You keep, you know what I'm saying? You keep getting arrested. You keep for the same shit over and over with different women. So that means you don't give a fuck anymore. You're aware of what's going on.
I honestly think situations like that, and I know for you it's cut and dry.
It's a real sickness.
But for me, it's like, it's not so much cut and dry. And let me make it clear. I don't feel bad for him at all. Not a 0.5%. I'm just saying, I think that he really needs to truly heal and understand that. But I feel like his cockiness and his arrogance and his popularity and his famousness is what's making him like, he still feel like he's standing on a fucking pedestal.
And no, I just think it's a sickness at this time.
And until like everybody's like journey healing or whatever it is to acceptance is totally different.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think if at the time like the shit was happening, that the people around him would have called him out about it, it would have been a little bit more like, oh shit, like maybe I do sound crazy. But then again, people sometimes are 1,000,000% in denial of the things that they're doing, and they start to believe their lies. And they start to be like, all right, no, this is this is that. So it's definitely a problem. And I feel like there needs to be some type of therapist or whoever to break him down. So really tear him down in order to get to the core of what that problem is. Because I feel like situations like that is definitely not like a cut and dry, like, oh, just get better, just do better. I feel like that shit, especially being molested by your sister.
That's definitely not.
I don't want to imagine that. Just like, I don't even want to say, can you imagine? But just being molested by somebody that's
anybody.
Just like anybody but a family member that your sister. Like you can't call my mother pussy. Like you get what I'm like, that's my father's sperm. Like
we know we related.
That's weird as fuck. That's weird as fuck. So that then the nigga can't read. So he felt powerless. And imagine you in high school and can't read. How them kids is gonna be cruel on you.
Yeah.
Like, this shit is crazy. But like I said, I think healing and all that trauma shit, that shit is deep, and I don't think it's cut and dry. I think he bugged the fuck out, and somebody needs to like something really truly needs to
No,
happen.
that's what I said. It's officially a sickness. It's one
Yeah.
thing it was past trauma and you trying to work the way or you trying to release whatever pains you're going through. This is officially a sickness now, considering you knew every time your freedom was on the line, these women's health and safety was on the line, and you just gave no fucks. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that kind of goes to show back too, like half of the people, we were dealing, we don't even know what they were going through too. You never even know, like they had past situations. Because, like I said, we were young, and I know I did not look my age at all for a very fucking long time. And it was still older. I remember I was like 20, 18, and it's like people's fucking grandfathers. There was this guy on the block. Oh, speaking of this story, I'll make it real brief. The same block I grew up on, around the same age. There was this guy that lived in my grand building, was right next door to mine. He was so cool all the time. He used to give us ice cream. The ice cream truck came. He had a son a little bit younger than me. Such a little cute little son. And I used to call him my little boyfriend. And his son would come every summer and then leave. So I guess like I was working or something, and his son left. And he was like, "Oh, my son left some stuff for all of y'all." He was like, "When you get a chance, knock on my door so I can give it to you." Thinking nothing, because he's like, the pops on the block. So I knock on the door, whatever. I come in. I think he handed me like a letter or something his son wrote or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Come sit down and anything." I'm like, "No, I'm good." And he's just like, "Yeah, you look very nice." I'm like, "Thank you." Thinking nothing, like this is a grandpa. And he talks with like a thing. So his voice is very raspy, and he's very, very tall and thin.
Listen, he don't got no right
and
to nobody's face.
Still thinking nothing of it, because we've never had more than a regular, "Hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Y'all want $1 for ice cream, icy or something?" Bam. And he's like, and his door is like, as soon as you come my grand building, there's 2 apartments here. His was on the left-hand side. So I'm literally right there at the entrance. He's like, "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about something. Whenever you're comfortable, come over. We could talk about it. And if you're okay with it, we can." So I'm like, huh? Mind you, I don't know if he said it exactly like that, but that's how it registered to me. Like he just got into a whole proposition. But I didn't hear at first what he was offering me. So I'm like, huh? And he's just like, "Yeah, I don't want to rush you. Whenever you're comfortable, we could start off slow. And of course, I'll pay you." And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, is this babysitting? Like, I'm still like a little
what do you need, sir?
You're not expecting that. Like, I've never, like I said, I talked to older guys, not that fucking old. He was like at least 60, 58, 60. And his son was a little bit younger than me. So that should have already, but like I said, we're young. We're not thinking that far into it. Like, oh, you like young women.
Right.
So I'm just like, that didn't sit right to me. Then a couple of days after that, after school, I'll go to my grandma's house for a little bit. He's meeting me at the door. Like, "Oh, did you think about it?" And I'm like, huh? So now I'm feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. So like 2 weekends after that happened, I see like some girls, a little probably like 18, 19, coming out his house. A Black and Spanish girl. And I'm like, we ain't never seen them on the block. Somebody says, "Weird." Week after that, I'm coming home. He's there again. And now he's like, "Did you think about what I was saying?" He was like, "I'll pay you. I always thought you were beautiful and stuff." And I'm like, oh, hell no. And when I tell you, my grandma didn't leave her house unless she had to go to work. Okay. She sent us to the supermarket, and ain't nothing was wrong with her legs. When I went up there and told her, my grandma was not even the affectionate type at the time. Nothing. When I tell you this, my grandma was 6'2". When her ass came downstairs and cursed him the fuck out, because I was just like, he's making me feel weird. He keeps meeting me there. I mean, like, he will block the door so I can answer him. Like, he's holding the door in my way. And I'm like, now I feel uncomfortable because I'm like, I think you're propositioning me. Remember, I'm still like, nobody's ever approached me in that sense. Like, you talk shit with the guys and stuff, but I'm like, nobody your fucking age. And my grandma cursed him the fuck out, and he left me alone after that. But after that happened, I was afraid to hug my grandfather. I was afraid to hug my uncles and stuff, because I'm like, can't even trust any of these men now.
Right.
Because somebody that I thought would never look at me that way just propositioned me. And I'm like, I'm a whole version. A bitch ain't even 16 yet. Like, I was a kid, like, just had little stubs. Like, I wasn't even fully developed. And I was just like, wow, like, this shit is weird.
Those are men that cannot get females their own age. That's what that is. That's what I think that is. Like, you can't get a female your own age. You're disgusting. That's nasty. That is disgusting. There was a story, not about me, but it was some shit on the news. And going back to like the molesting thing from your family member, there was some shit on the news, and it was a lady. She killed her kids. So she was on trial. And why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She was getting so much. I think she killed them and like cut them up, put them in the freezer or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So come to find out, I think she had 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest one, the 2 older kids was like molesting the youngest one. And I guess the mom had been molested when she was younger. And her hearing that, she killed them. And when she was on trial, they was like, "Oh, do you have any regrets?" She was like, "No, I'll do it again." And she had and like, because that's Satan. Like those is not my kids. That's Satan. Like, and I was like, I can understand that. Because to sit there, I just can't, like I said, like, it's not right whether it's a family member or not, or stranger, it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But to sit there and say, I'm about to molest you're a boy, I'm about to molest my little brother. Like, what? She was like, no, those were not my kids. That was Satan. And she was like, I will do it again. I was like, wow. Like, I was like, I can't fault her. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't fault her. I cannot fault her.
See, I could fault her.
Maybe it was too extreme that she chopped them up.
The killing was too extreme.
But like, I feel like I would have I cannot fault her. I'm sorry, I can't fault her because that's traumatic. And now, right? Now, her baby, her son, her youngest son, has to live with that for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. And her going through it, I feel like she probably when shit like that happens, you don't heal from that. Like, you get better, but you can never forget those memories in your brain. Mm-hmm. And for her to she's putting herself in her son's shoes. Like, this is a young boy, and now he's gonna grow up the rest of his life going through trauma because of his fucking brother and sister. I'm sorry, I probably would have killed them too.
Nah, I think it was extreme. I feel like we say, R. Kelly needs some help. I feel like they're kids, so
what help. Does that mean?
Get your children help. You don't have to kill them to tell them something's wrong. Like, she didn't have her help. That's why that was her answer, to go not just kill my children, but chop them the fuck up. Like, okay, we're cooking dinner, and like, what we doing now? Like, that was extreme to me. I get the frustration. You want to sit there and whoop some ass, throw them into the wall or some shit. But you're a mother. 2, where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, give your child some help. I'm not gonna say violence is the answer. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just joking. But I don't think, as a mother, you killing your children because they did something they didn't know. I don't want to say they didn't know better, but they were young enough.
They was teenagers.
Better for them to seek help,
so they weren't kids. They were teenagers. They were like, I feel like they were teenagers.
I remember the story you were saying, but I'm like, I don't think, if anything, I feel like, how was the oldest? I don't think nobody was older than 13. But they're still
teenager,
old enough to. Because you said teenager, so I'm like, if anything, I don't think they were older than 13. But I'm like, you can still get them help. Like, there's plenty of people that have been through something traumatizing like that and got the help they needed, and they're very functional, happy people in the world. So there was ways to help make sure your children were okay, to help heal them, to help make sure. Like I said, I think sometimes the molestation, things like that, is a form of a sickness. So we don't know what would have happened to the child that was doing it, but the one that actually got touched on and felt on, she could have entered him into therapy and got that person help.
The daughter was 13 and the son was 9.
Okay. It was 3 kids, right, though, right? No, I feel like there was a younger one
that was being molested.
Okay. But yeah, I'm like,
too.
I get why she felt. I get her snapping, because like I said, there's plenty of situations where you snap, you just react in that moment. But everything after, you getting them, popping them, or whatever you was gonna do, once you decided to kill them, once you decided to cut them up, like, that was all you consciously doing. That wasn't in that moment. Maybe even that moment you even took your kid and yoked them up real quick, like, what the fuck you doing? That could have been a snap moment. Anything after that was you literally planning on killing your kids. And I get her snapping, but that was excessive. Excessive. You could have separated them. There was plenty of things you could have did, to heal your child. Like something probably happened to that kid that they're doing that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even know. Well, we don't even know what she did, but it was excessive to kill them. I get why she felt she needed to. Like she kept saying it was the devil, the flashbacks, her snapping, but it was excessive.
Said, I will do it again.
It was excessive.
So
I know she did, and I was just like, damn, I felt bad that was her response because she really believed, like deep down her soul, she felt like,
so
I can't have that happening.
This is a quote that she said. Just because this story was so interesting to me. She said, she basically said both of them, they gang raped and molested the younger boy. And then she said it happened to her, so she had like deep-rooted trauma. So she said, I told my mother what happened to me, and the only thing she said was, "It's over with. What the fuck do you want me to do about it?" And then she was like, she told her mom, like, I'm a kid, I'm just telling you what happened to me, and you're not doing nothing about it. And I have to see this person coming in and out of my house every single day. And she was like, and you're still friends with this person. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this person,
yes,
and now I gotta watch them every day come into my house, right? And she said, if there's one thing I would definitely would have killed over, it would have always been that. So I feel like we said, and it's not funny, but like that trauma shit is different.
Because she never got help.
Right.
She never got help afterwards. She never got any healing. And she kind of repeated the same shit her mother did. The only difference was she took her children out.
Yeah.
She thought she was ending this.
The same thing.
Because her mother ignored her in a sense. She kind of ignored. She don't know what something could have happened to them two other kids while they're doing that. They just, you know what I'm saying, randomly.
Right, but I don't think it's the same thing because they never spoke on it. It's not like they said this happened to me and she was like, all right, get over it. Well, the mom was basically like, all right, like get over it.
No, yeah, I'm saying it's in the form of it because you ignored that there was a problem and your way to deal. Her mother's way to deal with the problem was like, it happened, you're older now, like just get over it. And her solution, instead of her digging down to the root to see what's going on and why is this happening, was to dismiss it and get rid of it by killing them. That was the easy way out. Now we don't have to deal with it. It's not gonna happen again because y'all not here. And the mother's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna ignore you told me this because, like, I don't want to deal with it. So that's what I meant. Like, she just kind of dismissed the situation and solved it her own way, which was not the right way. I don't think that's ever the right way to do with your children. I mean, unless your child is trying to kill you too.
I can't blame her. She probably was like a little bit cuckoo, but again, I can't.
A little.
And I don't know. I can't blame her. And I think she took that. She said if there was anything I would ever kill over, it would be that. So I think in her brain, when she heard that her baby is being gang raped by his brother and his sister, that probably took her back to a time and she probably wanted to kill the person that was molesting her. So in that moment, she probably snapped. And I think that's probably definitely
she did.
She snapped. Like, you raping your fucking brother? Your little brother? That shit sounds wild.
I mean, the fact that the term gang rape was used by kids, the fact that term was used was just like I said, I believe she snapped. I definitely believe she snapped. Mm-hmm. That's no doubt about it. I still do think it was just an excessive way because, it's hurtful. Nobody ever wants to hear that about any of their kids or family, whoever it is. Nobody wants to hear it at all. So I get her snapping. Like, I've seen people snap off of less. So, but it was still excessive. And there was other ways to help those babies. And I feel like that's the problem sometimes. Like, because we didn't get healing and we didn't know how to deal with stuff, we try to solve things our own way. And sometimes it's not the right way. And there was other ways to handle that situation that probably could have had all the children coming out being better people for society with some help and some guidance and, therapy or whatever else, they do for people that are in situations like that. But that was definitely a snap moment, no doubt. It was just the cutting up and the the extra shit that was like, even if we wanted to give you insanity,
if I'm remembering, I think that the kids knew that she was molested. You was just smiling?
Oh no, yeah, I was being because I fixed the camera, so I was like,
I think that her kids knew that she was molested. So I feel like, and I feel like I'm like trying to find it, but I feel like I remembering hearing her speak about it. And I think they knew that it happened to her. And they was using it as like a form of like this is the worst thing that you could do to a person type of situation. Does that make sense?
See, but this is her version of it. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't want to speculate and speak on people's situations because we don't know. But from what you're sharing with me, and just me being a mother, is like because she went through that moment and she had a moment of insanity, a moment where she just lost her mind, and now she's sharing her version, her story of it. It's just like, not saying children don't do this because I feel like at 9 and 13 we thought we was grown as fuck and we knew everything about life in the world. But for kids to be sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna pay her back or pay this person back this way because I know my mom doesn't like it. Not saying children don't do it, but it was like that's so excessive. You know what I'm saying? And considering the state she's in, I feel like, not saying we can't take everything she's saying, but you had a whole moment when you snapped and killed your kids and chopped them up. So half the stuff coming out your mouth, I'm not saying I don't want to believe it, but I wouldn't even know what part of what you're telling me to take and consider as truth because you did something extremely excessive. Extremely. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But all I'm gonna say is I get her snapping. I think her actions after finding out were excessive. Because I feel like let me find out since my son was little, I told him, once I start bathing him, nobody bathes you. I don't care if you're.
I have a question. Because I don't have kids, but I have a question. If you found out that your son raped, I don't know, let me say your niece or a cousin or I don't know, a family member, I don't know.
Hypothetically.
That's why, of course, we
fictional. No, I'm putting out there for the people.
But would you feel the same way about your son? How you feel about him now?
Yeah, I'll turn him in.
I can't hear you.
Oh no, I said I'm pulling the wrong thing. I said I will turn him in. He doesn't get passes.
It sounds like you far away now.
That's so weird. I don't know why. How does it sound now?
Twist it up to your mouth.
That's what I just did.
All right, it's better now.
Oh no, he's getting turned in.
But would you? All right, he's getting turned in, but would you feel the same way towards him?
Oh no. I mean, I think I would be sad. Like I would want him. See, I'm different. Like I would want. Like why? What happened to you? What's going on? I want you. Like I want him to get help, but I'm gonna turn him in because that's not allowed. Because I couldn't imagine. I couldn't be mad at my sister if she wanted to retaliate however she wanted to, because that's not okay. And me feeling like I raised him better and taught him not to do X, Y, and Z. Not saying that helps people stop them from doing what they're gonna do, but no, it's not okay. He's definitely getting turned in. I'd rather him be turned in than someone trying to kill him because he obviously needs help. Like if I know he was giving love and all this stuff was happening, then what's wrong up there that made you do something like this? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. No, like I ride for my son, but not that. Like if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference from doing that and robbing a bank.
Right.
Like, I'll hide you robbed the bank. I'm not hiding you if you were sitting there raping and molesting kids and all that weird shit.
The other side.
I'm like, y'all, the camera is flipped, so when we're reaching the wrong spots, just don't pay us no attention.
I gotta go get my charger because my laptop is gonna die. So it's right there.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like when stuff like that happens to people, try to figure out why and then try to get them help. And if there's no way to help them, then I mean, unfortunately, you got to kind of lock them up. They can't be in society if they're going around hurting people. But I'm not gonna lie. I did say before when I was younger, like if somebody did something to my child, I'm gonna kill them. And I still feel that way. I'm not even gonna lie. Hoping nobody do nothing, because if somebody end up dying, they all gonna be looking for me. Nah, but so I get the need as a parent. You wanted to react revenge on the person that's hurting your child. But sometimes you gotta, depending on who it is, you gotta figure out, and depending how young they are, how old they are, why this happened. Get them help. Lock them up. Do what you got to do. Don't have them in society anymore.
Right.
But some people really just need help. Some people just don't know better. Like sometimes there is just a chemical balance that is causing these things, and they need help, and everybody's dismissing it, and everybody wants to fight and kill and do everything but help people. So I'm like, let's help people first. But that's just my opinion. I may be talking a different tune because it's not in my household, but me, being on the outside looking in, that would be, my response to it until, it happens to me. You never know.
Yeah. I think that people should just work on healing, whatever that is. Again, I can't blame her. She shouldn't have put them in the freezer. But she said she will do it again, and like I can't blame her.
Yeah. The sad thing was like, damn.
I can't blame
I felt
her.
what she was feeling in that moment. Like because she would do it again because like it's not right. But then it's like you push, and I guess like I'm speaking from a perspective of a mother. Like I pushed him out, so I can't just throw him away. You know what I'm saying? Like I would want to help you first until I know there's no helping. Like if she tried everything and they still doing it, and then she did it, like it don't make sense, but it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that didn't happen.
So I guess for me, just thinking about what you just said, how do you make it make sense to the young boy that's being raped? How do you make it make sense to him?
You can't, but you can be like this, there's something wrong with your brother, and which is the truth. There is something wrong. That's not okay. You can't, but now I'm going to take you to get help. I mean, because he's not going to walk around the rest of his life not okay. There's plenty. I know.
He's going to walk around the rest of his life not okay. I think he is.
Not if he gets the proper help.
I know people that have personally been molested by and been in the house with the molester and living there and everything like that. And you're going to live with that for the rest of your life. It's not something, even if you get help, that you're going to just be like, oh, okay, it happened to me and I'm just working on it. That stays with you for the rest of your life. It does not go away, no matter how much you try to forget it, no matter how many therapy sessions that you go through, it's always going to be there. So I could just imagine her and just going back to her saying how she was raped by a person that had to see them every single day. And what she did was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I could just imagine from her perspective, putting her young son in her, putting herself in her young son's shoes, right? Like now they in a room right there. They both in the room right there, and I'm sitting here and they were just fucking raping me last week.
See, that's what I said. They wouldn't be in the house. Like you say, I'm not keeping them in the house. You're gonna go seek help. So if you have to go away, you're going to you're going somewhere, but you obviously can't be here now because it's not safe. And you're my, but you're my child, so I can't just not care. Like F you, how dare you? Like I pushed you out. Like I didn't see this happening either. So you taking some blame for yourself. You're blaming yourself. You're blaming your children. You're doing this, but I'm not gonna resort to killing my children that I pushed out or pulled out of me or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna try to get them some help. And I'm like, the child, yes, he was young that it happened to. I'm not saying he's gonna be perfect, and I'm not gonna say he's ever gonna forget. I haven't forgotten anything that's happened to me. But you learn how to cope with it, deal with it, and move on, and not dwell and not become a victim of your past with the proper help. And that's the goal. Like we've had traumas that's not the same that I know I've lived with. Like we'll get into that another topic, but I had somebody put their hands on me and stuff, and I would never, ever forget it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to deal with the choices I made when that happened and things like that. But I'm not gonna walk around every day feeling less than or sorry for myself or not productive because something happened to me. So I'm like, there's ways to cope with it and be functional and still be happy and not having to forget what happened to you. So that's what I'm saying. Like this, I feel like everybody has some form of trauma.
And I think everybody's healing process is different. And that's why I can never be dry about it. I can never be like, oh, well, just go about with your life and just live and be happy and do this and do that. Because everybody deals differently. Everybody heals differently. That's their prerogative. I remember there was a documentary that I watched, and it was some girl where she was locked in a closet, and she was locked in a closet as a kid, and she was being fed she basically had to eat the rug and eat shit around her in order for her to kind of survive. So she was originally adopted. The parents came back, they took her back, but they had her in the closet. She was getting raped by a broomstick. right? She's in the closet still. They wasn't feeding her. So when they got her, when they finally, I don't know how, I can't remember how she got out, but when they finally got her out, they said her stomach was full of so much shit that was in the closet because she was eating whatever was there because they was her. So listening to her story, so now she's an adult and she's talking about it, and she's just like, no matter how I go on in my life, and I try to not allow that to control my life. But she said there's those moments where she want to lash out, she want to do this, she want to do that, and she was like, I can never forget that, and I can never, like, those moments when I want to lash out, they're always going to be there. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, so I guess everybody is different. It's definitely a struggle bus when you go through
any type of trauma.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, the healing process is never gonna end. It's always there. But I was just saying, if you're taking strides, you know, to help these people cope, because like they said, the woman, she never had that option. I know some people that they didn't even tell their parents or friends or family until they were older, and now they're looking at them like, why are you saying something now? Like, that should never be the response. Right. So I 1000% get it. I'm just saying, because I'm a mother, like, I couldn't see myself killing my child. Like, I'd rather turn them in and let the state or, you know, federal government or whatever deal with them than to me physically harm something that came out of me, unless I had kids like, what's them 2 white boys that killed their parents. There, I can't think of their names. But unless I had children like that trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? But if there was something I could do, like, damn, I don't know what I can do, but I want you to get help. I don't want to see you dead because there's something wrong. There's a sickness there.
Right.
You know, that's the only perspective I was coming from. But yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, like, we got off topic.
I want to switch the topic back, right?
Yes.
To go back to, we were talking about pedophiles, and young and Thotty, us being young and Thotty, and just basically thinking we was grown, fucking with these old niggas, thinking it was the hot shit to do, the in shit to do. And now in retrospect, it's like, all right, that was a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We're gonna get into the next segment because I'm charging my battery and it's still acting stupid. But I'm charging my laptop. I'm sorry. Right, so we're gonna get into the next little category that we got. It's called the fuck he said, because y'all know niggas will always be saying some dumb shit. All right, some dumb shit like sir, stop. So going back to the original story that I'm really sweating over here. Going back to like the original story that I was saying, the guy that I was fucking with, I was 17. And I remember us being in the park and we're fucking, like I said, I had on my wrestling boots. Yeah, I know them when the wrestling boots was in, I had them in black. It was all black and it had the white laces. But I remember being in the park and we fucking, and he's like, oh, why you ain't tell me you were 17? And I was like, the fuck?
Wait.
While we
was fucking? Like,
yeah.
And he wanted to,
like, peeing inside. You only got one ear part in because your sound keep going in and out, in and out.
Yeah. Hold on, I put the other one in.
But yeah, he was like, why you ain't tell me you were 17? And I'm like, sir, you don't think it's a little bit too late?
Too late, right?
You don't think it's a little bit too late? Why you ain't say that before we got to this point? Why you ain't say that before right now?
So how long were y'all dealing with each other before he asked you that question? If you can recall.
I don't remember. So 17, that was probably me going into college at that time. Because I have a late birthday. So I was I think I was 17. I probably I probably was fucking with him the ending of that school year.
Okay.
Into college. Because I was still going to college. So it could have been, I don't know, it could have been like a year, something like that. No, it could.
Before he even asked?
I wasn't 16. No, so it wasn't a year. So it was months. But remember, again, I had a late birthday. So my birthday's in December. So after December is when I was fucking with him. So I'm going to say months before he probably. Yeah, because it wasn't that long, but I know it was like because
Now that seems a little creepy.
it was warm outside, so I remember it was like it was warm. I just remember it being warm. What you were saying?
I said so. Now that appears to be a little creepy because that was like he waited till like y'all was doing it. He could have asked you before y'all went to the park.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why you ain't say
Found out, so
something?
we're just like.
I'm like, that's probably how,
like, and I bagged the youngin.
that's probably how I learned how to give phenomenal head. I'm just
The
saying.
head kind of store started with.
I'm just saying because I remember him being like, "You fucking too hard." Like he would be like, "You doing it too hard." I'd be like,
"So okay." Look at him. He probably felt like a fucking man.
Thank you. Thank you. Hold on, let me stop.
Imagine he watches and you get a text like,
"You not."
But who taught you everything you knew?
I had talked
like,
to him
taught you everything you knew.
I had talked to him like when I was older.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Hot mess. But anyway,
nah, these guys be
like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you really talking about?
Listen, y'all be swearing we be coming for y'all, but y'all be doing some things, yo. That's crazy.
Very crazy. Very crazy.
I'm laughing over here. It's not funny, but I'm laughing because I'm just picturing like, what kind of weirdo shit is that? Like, why you wait till you in me to ask me that? Like, the fuck? Like we said, the fuck?
I think I had just finished sucking his dick in the car too, and then we went up. You hear me? We went upstairs. We went to the park. So I'm like, you knew that. You knew that. And I think, matter of fact, that's the day we was coming from a party. Yep. I remember he was like, let's go for a ride. I was like, all right, let's go.
A mess.
Fuck these niggas be talking about. The fuck he said. So guys, that was our segment of the fuck he said. And we about to close out with our little advice column, okay?
Yeah.
So if you guys have any stories, any advice, or anything that you need, make sure y'all hit us up. Send it to our Gmail, which is going to be linked down below. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the question today is the advice that the person needs advice on this. Look, I'm gonna talking mad crazy right now. I don't know why I'm stuttering. All right. So she says, I have a huge dilemma. I met this amazing guy at work and we hit it off, not romantically on his part, but it was just basically like good vibes. She says, one day I got caught up in the moment and I kissed him. So she was vibing way too fucking much. Anyway, so she got caught up in the moment and she kissed him. He didn't stop her. She said he didn't stop me. So then she goes, so I'm hanging out one night with my friends. We having drinks, girl talk. And then she was like, boom. She shows me a picture of her new boo. And it's my fake work bae. What should I do? What should I do? What should she do?
I'm gonna say, let me just look at it one more time. This wasn't her best friend, just one of her friends, right?
Just her friend.
I would say if it happened once and you know you're gonna leave him alone, I probably, it depends what friend it is, because some of my friends want to know. And I have those friends where they're like, So I'm gonna speak of my close friends. My close friends, I'm gonna say something like, bitch, I was kind of just talking to him, like
well, was she talking to him though? Because she says, I met him at work. Hit it off, not romantically on his part. So basically, that sounds to me.
Okay.
She was feeling him, and they was just vibing. You know, it was a little thing. She got caught up in the moment, and she kissed him. So she approached him. It was not like he put up on her.
Yeah.
I guess
the hit it off part. You know what I'm saying? She threw that in there and then threw in the not romantically. Oh, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah, and I think
if I initiated it.
Part where it comes in with the iffy part is because she's like, he didn't stop me. So basically, like, was he fucking enjoying the kiss? Right.
So that's why I was like, if she knows she's not gonna try, because now if I would have kissed the dude, first of all, I'm not going in for a kiss first, unless I get a signal he want it. Right. But if I was going in to kiss the guy, he's kissing me back, I'm gonna want to kiss him again. You know what I'm saying? So, but she did put in her fake work boo. She did say it's not romantic on his part, and she initiated it. So I probably wouldn't say anything because it wasn't like he was pushing up on me or he was engaging in my flirting. And it could have just been like, he was surprised, but then at the same time it was good. Like, you get caught off guard, but then it's like, this ain't bad. But it's like, I didn't initiate it. She did kiss me. Because I hate that they kiss me back and kiss them back. Like, if we there more than 3 seconds, we're kissing each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would let it slide. I wouldn't say anything because he didn't initiate it. And I was probably trying to flirt and stuff, and he wasn't doing anything. And I probably just, like you said, we was at an event, got a little too close, and I probably wouldn't say anything.
I guess my question is, like, would you fall back from him? Or would you try to like should she fall back?
She should fall back 1,000%, especially since she was the one initiated and now she knows her friend's boo. So anything she do from there on out, it's her being sneaky and grimy.
Okay.
What about you? What advice you got for her?
I don't know, because I flirt. So I feel like all right, so here's my take on it. I feel like, yes, my initial reaction would be like, all right, sis, don't go down that road, right? Don't do it. But you know what? Never mind. I'll talk about it later. But my first reaction would be like, all right, sis, fall back. But then this is a person. Why are you laughing?
Can you go? But then.
No, because this is the person that you work with, right? This is the person that you're seeing every single day. So I feel like no matter if you're like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I feel like that vibe is still going to be there. Like, you get what I'm saying? Meaning, like, you could tell yourself, all right, don't push up. And okay, that's cool. And you don't push up. But I feel like eventually, because like y'all see each other every single day and that vibe, that connection is still there, I feel like it's still going to be some type of energy exchange that's going on. Whether or not y'all kiss again or not, I feel like it's still going to be some type of like what ifs.
But wouldn't it be one-sided since she said it wasn't romantic on his part?
So and that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that he's like in love with her, he's trying to pursue her, right? But when you work with somebody every single day and you see them every single day and there was already a connection there, if she say, for example, like, all right, I'm gonna fall back, like I'm good, and then but they still around each other, they still kikiing, I just feel like that is eventually going to lead into something else. Because
but wouldn't that just be on her?
But that's what I was about to say. Because she said that he didn't push back, that he basically kissed her back. So that's why I'm like, okay, it could be him trying to be good, right? And we could be like, all right, well, we both trying to be good, but now I'm seeing you every single day. I'm thinking about that kiss. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm going home. I'm thinking about you. Like, I feel like eventually it may lead to something else. And it may happen again.
No, I feel like if it happens again, it's gonna be all on her again. I mean, unless he, like you said, was trying to be good, and now that kiss came in, unless he starts initiating contact with her, anything that happens forward on there on her behalf, regardless of what she's feeling, it's her being wrong. Like, you don't know him, you can control those. An attraction is attraction.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying what I just said. I don't mean that she's pushing up. I'm not saying that anybody is pushing up on anybody. I'm saying she's trying to forget. She's trying to be like, no, I'm good, right? So say, for example, that happened in, I don't know, July, right? Now you still seeing a person every single day. And at first you start off like, you know how you start off and be like, oh, I'm not doing that shit no more, right? I'm not doing that. And then you just, after a month or so, you just start falling. Y'all start, all right, now you see him at the water fountain, right? And then now y'all make a little joke. I'm telling you, because that's how that good shit happened.
Sometimes, but somebody has to be doing something. Because I feel like if I'm telling myself I'm not fucking with somebody, then I'm trying to get you out of my head. So I can still see you, but if we're not interacting, like now I'm not even gonna be joking with you. I'm not gonna be talking to you like that. So it's one thing to see you, but I feel like I'm gonna avoid as much communication as possible. Like, we work together, it's different. Just to make sure it's not gonna go further. Because now I know you my friend's boo. But if they're entertaining conversation just because they cool, they took lunch together, then it's gonna be sticky. So if I was like, I'm falling all the way back,
right?
Any communication.
that energy, because I fucked with somebody from work before, and it wasn't like I wasn't attracted to him. It was just more like I seen him every day, and it was just the conversation, and we was kikiing. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it was just a person I didn't know, and I seen him every single day on the bus, and then we ended up just like hitting it off based on conversation, but it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like, oh, okay, like I'm about to bag him today, and it wasn't like that at all. It was just more like, all right, he cool, and it just so happened to turn out that way. So I guess that's why I'm thinking about it in the same situation, because at work, you see somebody every single day, like, yes, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna stand my ground, right? But I feel like eventually that ground is gonna start to crumble once you like, like once time passes. So I don't know. So what should she do? I would
cease all communication.
Right. I would say, sis, just fall back. I feel like you should tell your friend. You should. I would say, yep. I'd be like,
so tell me, how would that go? How would you? So let's say I'm the friend, and you just pushed up on my man, and he didn't break the kiss. What would you say to me?
Well, I would be like, well, let me see what she said.
Because I feel like that would be awkward. Like, hey, I pushed up on this guy at work, and I didn't know that was Jimmy.
Of her new boo, which means that it's not a long-term thing. It's something that's fresh, right? So I would be like, not gonna lie, that nigga, he work at my job. Like, I would say something, because
I would say I know him.
Now that's gonna make it awkward. It's gonna feel like a secret, because what if eventually he then comes and be like, yo, back in June, your friend, I didn't know that was your friend. She kissed me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and now she's like,
you gotta
tell me. So I feel like because she didn't know, right? She didn't know that was her friend's name or boo or whatever. And because the girl is saying that's her new boo, because like if we friends, I feel like I should know about, like, if it's something that you're about to take serious, I feel like we would have already had conversations about it. So if it's something that's that fresh, then I feel like, okay, like it's probably new. You know what I'm saying? She probably just met him, they talking, they like each other, whatever, but it's not nothing that's solidified. Like it's still like, talking stages. Like, oh, look at my boo, look at this guy I'm talking to, like one of those. But I would say something. I feel like you should say something, because it wasn't malicious. It becomes malicious when that's what I think.
No, well, now that you put it like that too, I would, but I think I would just say, I'll tell everything. Like, that shouldn't have, like, this guy working my job. Like, I literally just pushed up on him. Like, I feel like dumb now. Like, I didn't.
Right.
Maybe that's why he was acting funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would throw something out there. I don't know. Like you said, it is gonna be weird.
But yeah, I would make it clear though that he wasn't pushing up on me.
That's what I said. Now it makes sense why he was acting, or whatever. Right. So, little plot twist. Let's say I'm the friend. I told you that. Would you still talk to him? Would you feel? Well, you can't feel any type of way towards me because we both didn't know. But would you still continue to try to date him after I told you the story, or would you feel like, why are you kissing somebody else?
Yeah, but again, if she tells the story correctly, she kissed him, and she can be like, oh, I wouldn't be like, oh, he didn't pull back. I wouldn't say that. I would just be like, I kissed him, I pushed up, like we was cool, I got into the moment. Exactly how she described it is how I would say it. And I'd be like, damn, like my bad, boo. Like, I didn't know that was your boo. Like, I'm gonna fall back. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and then I would just have to fall back. But I would still, if I was the friend now, I'm gonna still fuck with him. Why would I not? I would be skeptical. Not skeptical, but I would always have a little thing. Like, do I really feel comfortable with that? And I feel like I would have to have a conversation with my friend along with my boo too.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, same. Okay. So you have it here. Tell your friend.
Right. So sis, tell your friend.
Girl code.
Confess and fall back. Leave that man alone if you value your friendship. Now, if you don't give a fuck about the friendship, if that's not really your friend, you want to push up and lick some balls, grab them balls under the table. Right? It's totally up to you. But guys, we went a little bit longer today. It's almost like half. Because we got caught up. We got caught up to R. Kelly and all that shit. But thank you for tuning in. Two girls. I always want to say one cup. One cup. I always want to say 2 girls, 1 cup. But 2 girls, 1 struggle is our new podcast. This is episode 2. Where can they find us?
Guys, you already know. Right here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share, put that reminder bell on. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Lord of mercy.
Fridays, 12 p.m.
Lord of mercy.
Share, and subscribe, y'all.
Stop acting up.
Show some love.
And post our clips.
Yes.
All right? All right,
Same
y'all.
time next week.
If you have any advice, let us know.
2 girls, 1 struggle, pour it up, make it double, time to spill the tea, tired of the dating scene, I'm just trying to find a bank, but the games they wanna play, only if it's rated R, maybe then I'll show my cards.